So it's cold outside and I'm standing beside this thing, and if you keep watching you'll find out why. Hey guys, so welcome back. So we're standing outside here looking at the condensing unit of my air conditioning slash heating system. So had a problem where this fan here at the top was not running. So I have what's called a ground source heat system, and I'm going to put a diagram up so you can kind of see how that works if you don't know how that works. This condensing unit runs whether it's the winter or whether it's the summer, and as you can see in that diagram, the whatever liquid you're using, whether it's water or Freon or whatever it is, it gets pumped out into the ground, and in the summer it gets the cooler temperatures from under the ground, and then in the winter it gets the warmer temperatures from under the ground, and then that's how it heats the air, kind of in the heat, the exchanger and the blower motor on the inside that blows the hot air. So the problem is that if this fan does not run here at the top, it doesn't pull the heat off of the compressor, and it's going to burn the compressor up. Now there could be two reasons why this isn't running. One really is because the fan motor is just gone. Now I think this unit may be like 12 or 13 years old, so it could be the fan motor that's in it, or under here, I'll show you a picture of it. It's in there. I'll put a picture of it up there, but there's also a capacitor. All right, guys. So kind of explained a little bit about how my furnace air conditioner works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change out the capacitor. Let's take a look. All right, guys, so this is what the capacitor looks like. There's several different kinds. The 45 is the one that mine uses, but there's different size ones. As you can kind of see on the top, there's several different places to hook stuff into, and it's labeled. So that's fan, that's Herm, whatever that means, and C, I'm assuming, is like a common or something like that. So the other capacitor should have the same labeling on it, and so we should be able to get that changed out real quick. The reason why I'm doing this is you know, it may not be the fan motor that's bad, that's what wasn't working. It could be that the capacitor is bad and it's not getting the right amount of voltage for it to run. The new fan motor, which I do have, you know, it was like $160 on Amazon. This on Amazon, $14. So we're gonna try this first and see if that solves the problem. If not, we'll change out the fan motor. So let's get to it. Usually you just got to take a panel off. There's mine. You take the panel off and there's the capacitor right there. It's really easy to get to. You might have a disconnect on the outside of your house that you need to disconnect the power to the outside unit. I have a disconnect on the inside, but I'm going to go ahead and test it for voltage anyway. Make sure that these things are not hot, which they're not. So let's go ahead and get that thing out and we'll get her switched over. Got the new one installed there. This is the old one. As you can see, it's pretty old. I think it was installed in 2014, I think. So the easiest way to do this is to find what it is on here. As you can see, I had to scrape off some stuff to kind of read it a little bit, but figure out like that was the fan. So if you just take one at a time off of the old one, put them on the new one exactly where it's supposed to go, then you don't have to worry about wiring it incorrectly. So we're going to get this buttoned up. I was going to change that out anyway. So let's get this buttoned up. We'll turn everything back on and see if that solves the problem. All right, so I got everything turned back on. The heat's turned back on. And nothing running out here yet. So we're going to give it just a few minutes and see if it kicks on or not. Typically it kicks on right away, so I'm still assuming that there's possibly something wrong with the fan motor, but we'll see. I'll let you know here in just a few minutes. Okay, so the outside unit just kicked on, and that fan's just kind of herky-jerking. It doesn't want to turn, so I'm still assuming that it's that fan motor that's out. I'm gonna go ahead and get it shut off, and we'll get that switched out too. So I started off by taking these I shut everything off again, and get these bolts loose here that are around the edges. What I'm going to try to do is kind of flip this thing over and take that old motor off that way. So we'll see how that works. All right, so got the old motor out right there. This is the new motor. Looks like it's got the same kind of wiring harness and color wires and everything on it as the old one, so it ought to be easy as far as electrical goes. Getting everything else bolted back up and everything, that might be a challenge. So we'll see. And getting those blades back on correctly at the right height is important as well. So let's tackle that. All right, folks, there you go. And we are back in business. So now let me tell you about the last week and a half without having this actually working, and some lessons that I have learned that I won't fail on again. All right, so super glad I got that fixed. Was getting a little nervous about that. So I will say I was kind of embarrassed that I was not prepared, for that. It's winter pretty much. We had some fairly cold days and some cold mornings, and I never really thought about the furnace not working. So I was very unprepared for that. Luckily, thank goodness, over the last couple of weeks, we've had some very mild weather here in Missouri, at least in my area in mid-Missouri. We had a couple of cold mornings where it was like 22, 23, 25, something like that. But for the most part, during the day, it was at least getting into the 40s, mid 40s, sometimes like 50s. So we did pretty good as far as heating the house. So speaking of heating the house, this is what I went and bought for that. Once again, feel bad that I wasn't prepared, because if this would have been caused by snow, a lot of snow, or an ice storm of some kind, there's no way that we would have been able to go get something to heat the house, and we would have been in a pretty bad shape. So let me show you what I got. So I went to Menard. Once again, this video is not sponsored or paid for by any company or manufacturer or anything like that, but I got this at Menards, made by this company LifeSmart. It was $129, which really isn't bad. It looks really nice. I bought 2 of these and 1 of a different kind. I actually have it running right now. It's that name brand. I would have bought 3 of the other ones, but they only had 2, so I bought 2. And this, I think this one was only like $59 or something like that. A little bit cheaper, not as nice, but still gets the job done. But I have to say, I have been pretty impressed with these heaters. I never really ran them at 1500 watts. There's another setting, I think, for 750 watts. I think for the most part, I only ran them at 750 watts. There's an auto thermostat. It worked great. You set the temperature and it shuts on and off, so it's not constantly running all the time. The remote control works nice, and it's pretty convenient as well. There's a timer. I didn't use the timer just because I didn't need to. But we put one of these in our living room area, and you know, obviously the thermostat, it's going to read where it sits. So if you put it in a really cold area, it's going to run more because it's going to feel that colder temperature. So I tried to like move it away from the windows and stuff like that where there could be some colder air leaking in, and kind of put it more towards not the middle of the room, but like the middle of a wall. And it worked out really good. I put one in a bedroom, and it did super great in there. It's a really cold bedroom, and so that worked out really well. And then this one here, it's kind of been here in the kind of the makeshift office playroom area at the time, because it gets really cold in here too. So but you know, like I said, these guys don't sponsor me or anything, but now is the time to start thinking of these things before it really starts getting cold in your area, or it really starts to snow or ice. At least you've got a way, if you have at least have electricity, you can heat your home or a room, and you know, be okay until the power comes back on, or not the power, but your furnace is fixed, or you know, whatever it is. But yeah, worked out really great. So what I wanted to kind of do as well is see what running these infrared heaters actually did to my electric usage. I wanted to get that information and post it in this video, but my utility company's website, the data for that is not showing on there. They're having some kind of website problem or something, so it's not on there. So if I ever get that data, I definitely will post it for sure. All right, so now that that's out of the way, it's been a little bit since that I did any work down here in the basement. Honestly, you know, with the holidays coming up and you know, all that kind of stuff, there was just no way I was gonna have enough, you know, time to get this stuff done and get it done right, and not just, you know, throw it together. But I've got some more materials. I've got the ceiling tongue and groove boards. I think I got all of them that I'm going to need to do the rest of the ceiling in the hallway, in the landing, in the stairwell. So I need to start staining those. So I'm going to get to it. All right, everyone. Well, I got several of these boards stained up and ready to go. I'm gonna let them dry for a little bit before I put them up. They usually dry pretty quick, usually 35-40 minutes, and then they're ready to go. So that's going to be the end of this episode. The next video I do, I'm going to try to drop some tips and things of what I think everyone should have, you know, over the winter months. So check that out. And also want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be safe out there. I know there's lots of parties and things, going on, but just be careful. Sometimes the person that causes the problem is not you, it's somebody else. So make sure you're watching out for others. Also too, this is a time of year, it gets dark early, in a lot of places it's cold, snowy, and people that suffer from depression and things like that have a lot of problems and issues during this time of year. So if you know somebody that doesn't have anywhere to go, or they don't have close family or whatever, give them a call, or even just a text message. Let them know that you're thinking about them, and just hope everybody enjoys the holiday season. We'll see you next week. This is Life in Missouri.